Good morning. My name is Sandy McDonald, and I'm the Director of the Office of Economic and Small Business Development. And we want to welcome you this morning to our virtual meet and greet for security guard services. This is going to be your chance to get some information from the county's facility department about our security guard services. I'm saying that the way I do with most of our meet and greets. I want to make sure you understand that this morning we're going to be disseminating, passing information to you about a future bid. We will not be providing you with the specific scopes or the details of this future bid. But what we like to do for our small businesses is to make sure that you get familiarized with bid opportunities coming up in the county, get familiarized with the agencies and expectancies for bids coming up in the county, and always get familiarized with the process, including our office. So today, we're going to have a couple of members of the facilities team speak to you about security services here in Broward. They'll give you more information about security services here in Broward. And we are saying on the record, there is a future solicitation coming, but this is to prepare you to understand as a small business what your opportunities might be relevant to us setting a goal and or some of these potential services being reserved for our CBEs. So with that, we're gonna get you this information, pay attention to the information. After facilities speak to you, I'm gonna come back through and I'm gonna talk to you a little bit more about the process, about us as an agency. So first, I wanna introduce you to Robin Swanson, and Robin is a contract grant administrator, senior, for the Facilities Management Division. Robin, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to be give you an overview of the upcoming solicitation. As Sandy mentioned, that we're not going to be talking to specifics, but that will be coming out later, and you will have an opportunity to attend a pre-bid meeting at that time. The upcoming solicitation will consist of 3 different groups. Group 1 will consist of Facilities Management Division locations as well as locations for other Broward County agencies. This group has a 25% CBE goal requirement. Services under this group will consist of approximately 10 or more Broward County agencies, and it will be providing services to approximately 50 different locations. Group 2 will be for our libraries division. That is a CBE Reserve opportunity. Broward County has approximately 38 different library locations. For Group 3, which is parks, that is also a CBE Reserve opportunity, and the services may be provided to approximately 50 different park locations. The contract term will be for 5 years. It's anticipated that it'll be of 3 years with 2 annual renewals. Next slide. Thank you. For a general summary of the services, we are looking for Class 2 security guard unarmed, Class 3 security guard armed, site supervisor and project management services to be provided at Broward County locations. This may also consist of meetings and public events. A public event would be like the chili cook-off at CB Smith Park. An example of a meeting would be the commission meetings that are held in these chambers. The contractor and any subcontractors, if they are needed to fulfill the contract requirements, must meet minimum eligibility requirements as defined in the solicitation. The contractor must provide uniforms, equipment, patrol vehicles, and personal protective equipment, PPE, for its staff. We are looking for a minimum of 6 golf carts to be provided on day 1 of the contract. In addition, the contractor staff and the subcontractors, if applicable, must be licensed by the State of Florida Department of Agriculture and meet their requirements. They also must complete different Broward County training requirements, including HIPAA privacy training, which will be required at some of our locations. It's also subject to background checks. Other details will be included in the solicitation. we can go to the next slide, thank you. And then just other items is that the contractor will need to have a robust accounting and billing and tracking system. We are looking for the contractor to be able to manage multiple purchase orders and to deliver weekly invoices. And remember, for group one, you're going to be dealing with different user agencies, and there'll be different purchase orders coming at you. The contractor is to comply with Broward County living wage and OESBD goal reserve requirements and ordinance requirements, and that means that you're going to have periodic reporting that will be required under this contract. Now I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Cynthia Burrows-Wimberly. She is the Facilities Management Operations Manager for Life Safety and Security. Thanks, Cynthia.
Cynthia, are you online? Check to see if you're muted. Okay, team, so what we'll do is we'll continue, and if we get connected to Cynthia, we'll certainly bring her back in to share some of the points that she wanted to make regarding our security guard services. What I want to do is go back a little and reemphasize what was just shared with you by Robin, but more importantly, I want to make sure you recognize and understand. Hold 1 second. Cynthia, is that you? Maybe not. So we certainly will get in touch with Cynthia and we'll get her on. I want to share with you from the county's small business process what it is that you should be doing right about now. What it is that we try to do these meets and greets as a way to give you information in advance, to meet the user agency that you'll be responsible to, and to get familiarized to some degree about what the opportunity might look like, but keeping in mind, it's not the specifics of the contract and or the solicitation today. It's alerting you in advance, as you just heard, of what the opportunity is. And that's why I like to go over the 3 Ps. I often talk to you as small business about if you're going to do business with the government, specifically Broward County, you must understand program, process, and people. Program is that you really do need to know the Business Opportunity Act 2012 as last amended in May 2018. Why is it important that you know the Business Opportunity Act? It describes the program. It gives you the definition of CBE, County Business Enterprise. More importantly, it explains what a goal is and how we are currently looking to make sure at least 25% of what the county procures, we procure and buy from certified small businesses. It informs you and makes sure you recognize the difference between establishing a goal and a CBE reserve. You heard that 2 of these will potentially be centered around reserves. 25% goal, then there's a reserve, and there's another set of properties that's a reserve. So that's what we need to make sure you understand. Process. This is about the process. Making sure that you understand that you can get information about a bid even before a bid ever comes out. You want to know about existing contracts. You want to know who currently has won a contract. You want to know the prime as well as the subs. You want to know if there's other CBEs who have actually won a previous reserve. You want to know some of the details about what's currently existing. And as you also heard, you want to make sure through process, you have the capacity to deliver. We just heard about making sure as a small business, as a security firm, you have a robust invoicing and tracking and billing system. If you're dealing with multiple agencies via multiple facilities, we want to make sure that you can keep things in check. You can have them in order so that the billing cycle could also be seamless for you as well as for the county. Process means that you want to get as much education as you can from our program, from our virtual workshops, from information online, so that you can put yourself in a better position once a bid comes out to make sure that you can take advantage of that solicitation, of that bid. And you also want to make sure people, our meet and greets, and yes, back in the day before COVID, we used to do these meet and greets face to face. But our meet and greets is about you having an opportunity to meet our staff, to meet user agencies, to get a better feel of what their expectancy is, to know how you're going to be expected to deliver your service, to make sure that you have someone on the purchasing side who you can familiarize yourself as you follow the bid, and that's key. Once the solicitation is out, and we all know all the official information is in the solicitation, you have to be following that information and the process through the bid portal. And these days, that's our Periscope. That's Periscope S2G, I think is the name. We all know it as BitSync. It's still BitSync, it just happens to have a new name. So I just want to make sure that you recognize we do these to make sure you understand the program, the process, and you get to meet some of the people that can help put you in a better position once those solicitations come out. But who are you? Our certification program is a local program. It is race and gender neutral. We have an SBE, Small Business Enterprise, and we have a CBE, County Business Enterprise. We have our eligibility criteria for all of our programs. There's one thing that we need to know. We need to know that you as a business have been in Broward and you've been operating for at least a year. You got a continuous operating presence. We're going to need to know from a revenue perspective that you fit into one of our conditions, whether it's the 250,000 or less activities for SBE, over 250,000, that's primarily our CBE activity. And we're going to have to make sure that you as a business, as an owner, your personal net worth is 1.32 million or less. When you start taking the criterias under consideration, and all of these criterias, all the definitions, all of the descriptions of our program is online, broward.org/econdev. That's where you can get the rest of your devil in your details. But we're just here to make sure that you understand that there are requirements in case you're listening to us today and you're not certified as one of our small businesses. Here's a specific breakout of our SBE, Small Business Enterprise, and our CBE. Once again, when project values are 250,000 or less, we're mostly dealing with our SBE, our Small Business Enterprise. These are businesses for construction services of $3 million on an average over 3 years or less, contractual services $1 million on an average of 3 years or less, and then professional services of $500,000 on an average 3 years or less. But if you're the type of company, if you're the size of company, where if you're in construction, as long as you're averaging 9 million or less over 3 years, in all other industries, 5 million or less over 3 years, you're eligible to be a certified CBE. Both have the same personal net worth requirement, which means your personal net worth, not counting your primary residence, must be 1.32 million or less. So I know many of you listening today are already certified with us, but if you happen to be a business or a security firm and you're not certified, once again, on our website, broward.org/econdev, you can get this information and understand exactly what we require to put you in position to be certified. And that's it. We want you to get you certified. We need to get you certified. We have so much activity going on in multiple arenas, not just security, that it's important that you put yourself in a position by getting certified to take advantage of the program and the solicitations that will be coming out. We also want to let you know that we administer the federal program, the DBE, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, and the ACDBE, Airport Concessions, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. In short, whenever the county spends money from the DOT, Department of Transportation, the DOT has a program where we certify, and it's a national program, women and minority-owned businesses. And whenever, for the Broward example, our aviation division or our transit or transportation division uses Department of Transportation money, we have a methodology that we have to apply to determine, based on their spending, what they're buying, what percentage of that must be DBE or inside the airport, partnerships for ACDBE. So if you're a minority or a women-owned business, you want to get to our website, you want to learn more about the DBE and the ACDBE, we have workshops coming up that will explain that. But in short, these are 51% controlled businesses by minority or women. The personal net worth is the same, 1.32 million or less, similar to my local program. But the difference is the revenue. For DBEs, please take note, approximately 23 million, close to 24 million on an average over 3 years or less, you're eligible to be a DBE. But for an ACDBE, please take note, they're averaging 56 million or less over a 3-year period. And again, this program is national. You can get certified in Broward and you can serve as a DBE anywhere in the state. If you decided to go to another state, that other state can ask for your current certification, or they can ask for your previous site visit to determine your eligibility, or that other state can ask for a copy of your certification application. Once that other state gets 1, 2, or all 3 of those, if nothing has changed, that other state is required to certify you. You don't have to do the whole process again. So again, becoming a DBE or an ACDBE is advantaging to you because yes, Broward uses both, but you also might decide there's other opportunities throughout the state and sometimes throughout this country. So that's the federal program that we administer. And again, here's our numbers. This is where we are, approximately 874 businesses. We need more small businesses here in Broward County. Outside of our regular procurement and minus COVID, just disregard last year. Broward's procurement is normally about $1 billion with a B a year. So imagine, the county ordinance says at least 25% of what we procure should be procured with small businesses in Broward. So that means at least $250 million a year should be going to small businesses. Folks, to divide $250 million a year, when you think about all the things the county buys, I certainly need more than 874 small businesses. Don't get me wrong. The current 874 small businesses are excited about the fact they get to do that math based on what the county's buying, based on the number of certified firms in their specific industry. So if there's an industry that I'm in and it's only 9 CBEs, I'm excited it's 9. I don't want Sandy to get it to 20. Sandy wants to get it to 20 because Sandy wants to make sure that the county's getting the best price and we want to be competitive. But the 9 are going to take advantage right now of the projects that hit the street. And outside of the regular procurement, there's going to be things coming up at the airport, at the port. We're still going to expand that convention center and eventually build that hotel. But we also got surtax going. 28 more years of surtax. $350 million a year in potential projects, which at least $170 million a year should be eligible for small business participation. And because the county put a 30% goal, that means at least $53 million a year through the county and the 31 cities. Surtax projects offer opportunities for small business. So again, I got 800 plus small businesses. Folks, I really need a robust list of about 1,500, not just for the sake of being certified and being in a directory. I need about 1,500. So competitively, 1,000 of you are active each year trying to win bids in Broward, potentially while the other 400 to 500 is still developing and growing their business. There's a need to be robust, and it's not just to have your name on a list. I want to be clear. I don't want you getting certified unless you plan to participate and be aggressive about competing for county contracts, because the intent is for you to win business, not just be in our directory. Benefits of certification, again, increased participation helps all of us. Helps you, helps the county. The more businesses I have, based on the different scopes provided by the user agency, creates more opportunities and larger goals. The ordinance says at least 25%. We have some goals at 30, 35, and 40. And that's because there's multiple scopes in need, and we have multiple businesses that can deliver. And yes, sometimes the ordinance says at least 25. When I don't have enough businesses based on scopes, sometimes that goal might be 20 or 15. We're still happy about that because that means small businesses still get to participate, but it's not as robust as it could be if I have enough small businesses to meet the scopes that user agencies have. Additional benefits, a special capability and status. Yes, surtax now for the first time is a system or an initiative. Let me call it an initiative. Surtax is a project/initiative that requires the cities. If the cities take surtax money for their individual city projects, the cities are now required that 30% of what they do must be done with the small business. So now you want to be certified not just for the county projects, not just for what we're discussing today regarding security. You now know for surtax, which has 28 more years attached to it, when cities begin to do their projects, whatever dollar amounts those cities are spending, if it's surtax money, 30% of those funds have to be with small business. So the status is another one of the reasons why you want to be certified. Coming soon, we want to remind you that finally, now if you're currently certified, don't say, oh wow, they finally got to it. We finally got to it, folks. I know as a small business, you've been able to do your taxes, personal or professional, online for 5 or 10 years. And we've still been having you, unfortunately, to get certified with us. Download our application, fill it out, mail it in, fax it in, or drop it off. We are catching up with the times. Coming soon, hopefully next month, not hopefully, coming soon next month, I'm gonna hold my staff to it. We're gonna roll out an online certification. So all the businesses who are not certified, they will be able to go online, complete the application online, upload their documents online, and send them in. We'll still continue to communicate with you online, and we can certify you. This is just another convenience and an ease of access that gives you the affordability in your busy time as a small business to get around to doing the certification application when you can, and to submit that electronically, which makes all the sense in the world as I sit here on January 22nd, 2021. I do apologize. This is about 3 years late, but I'm excited that we're finally doing it. So look to our online certification next month. You want to be listed in our directory because when the solicitation, even for security, goes out, the prime contractors who might be interested, some will call our office, but the solicitation is going to speak to our program and is going to tell them that there's a directory. Yes, prime contractors who are also busy, they're going to go to the directory to see the certified firms that they may want to use to meet that 25% goal. You need to be in the directory. So that's the key of getting certified. It's the only way to get into that directory. Vendor registration, again, we've known it for BidSync forever. It's now known as Periscope S2G. New face, new name, substantively all the same. If you're not registered with the county as a vendor, that's what you need to do first. You need to be a Broward County vendor. For free, you get to follow the prompts and register for free. After becoming a Broward County vendor, then talk to my office. Talk to me. Even if you're listening today, you're not into security. Let's make sure what it is that you provide as a good material or service or product, the county buys it. And we'll research with you to tell you the last 3 to 5 years how often the county procured your good material, service, or product. And if we buy your good material, service, or product on a regular basis, this might be an incentive for you to then come get certified. So again, if you're listening to us and you're not certified as a Broward County vendor, please go to that link, go to that website, and register for free to become a to become a Broward County registered vendor. Then check with my office about getting certified. If you are a security firm today from somewhere within the county or even outside, and you're not a registered vendor, A, you need to register, but B, you also know because of the goal for the upcoming contract opportunity for 25% and the 2 reserves you heard about, you must be in our directory. And what do we say? To get in our directory, you got to be certified. So again, you too, beyond registering as a vendor, need to follow the steps to get certified. Get engaged and stay engaged. There's multiple ways, from these meet and greets to our newsletter to our virtual workshops. We share information all the time. From time to time, we're fortunate enough to have user agencies like Facilities Today to come and describe future opportunities, give you a little substance about current activity and previous activity to help you begin to do your homework to prepare for an upcoming solicitation. But there's multiple ways to stay engaged with us. And again, when it comes to a solicitation, when it comes to responding to a bid, when it comes to asking communications about a bid during that process, when it comes to understanding the final aspects of a bid, all of that's within the bid system or Periscope S2G. That's where you're going to find that information. That's another way to stay connected. Once you become a county vendor, once you have your NAICS code, once you're in the system, when a bid comes out, you'll be notified through that system. That system is where you will find your information. You won't find it at that time with the user agency. You won't find it at that time with our office. You're going to find out the devil in the details and the requirements of any solicitation through the solicitation portal. So it's key in many instances to get engaged and stay connected. Staff is even educating me, so you can stay connected with us through Twitter, through Facebook, through YouTube. We got a weekly newsletter that goes out every Wednesday. So it's key that you find a way to stay involved with us and to make sure that you're getting information from us that will be of advantage to you. So with that, before we go to Q&A, we'll go backwards a little bit and we'll see if Cynthia made it to the line. Cynthia, do we have you? Okay, so we apologize for that, but with that being said, we're going to now take some Q&A from you if you have any. Hopefully, and I apologize, I didn't tell you in the beginning. I was supposed to give that spiel, right, Ms. Danberg, that you can go to the chat or something like that to pose a question. But Ms. Danberg would tell me if any of you have used the tools of technology to pose any questions, and Robin and I will be here to answer any questions we can answer, keeping in mind we're not talking today about the specifics of the future solicitation, but Robin can certainly share with you about what we do now and previously in her locations as she just described them earlier, and I'll certainly entertain and answer anything I can about the program in our office and additional assistance we might have available to you. So Ms. Danberg, we'll entertain any questions if you have any.
We had one that was posted first thing this morning from Yves LaFontaine, and he asked, "Good morning, this is Yves from the South Florida Elite Security. When will the contract start, and how many officers roughly will you need per facilities?" Which kind of goes right back to what you just said.
So I'll let Robin touch it, and then I'll come back around to remind you the specifics, and Ms. Danberg did tell us, that came in earlier. I would ask you to pay attention to what Robin was sharing at the beginning of her presentation when she described the goal and the location and the number of opportunities. But the specifics to the contract, the specifics to what's going to be required for this new solicitation, you definitely have to wait for the solicitation. Robin, if there's anything you wanted to add to that.
No, that's correct.
Okay. So yeah, so definitely, again, as we got through saying a few minutes ago, be engaged. Make sure you are registered in Periscope S2G. Make sure that when that bid comes out, you're going to get that notification. And when that bid comes out or when that solicitation comes out, read it carefully. One of the things I will say that purchasing would normally say, and Robin would back me up on, folks, when a solicitation does come out, the first thing you must do as a small business is read it carefully. Follow what it says. That's worth saying today, tomorrow, and even when the solicitation hits the street. Read the solicitation, make sure you understand, and follow the steps of the solicitation. Ms. Denberg?
Marta Cabrisas asks, "Good morning, this is Marta from Crime Prevention. We have our main office in Miami, but we've been doing business in Broward since 2019. Can we be registered as a vendor?
Congratulations for your main office in Miami. And congratulations and thank you for doing business in Broward since 2019. So Broward in Miami and Broward in Palm Beach, we don't have that old school reciprocity, but you can be certified in Broward. If you have a location based on our certification criteria in Broward, if you can demonstrate that your business has been operating in Broward for at least a year, if the personal net worth of the owner of that business is 1.32 million or less over the last 3 years, if your average revenue is 5 million or less over the last 3 years, and I need to go back, your personal net worth needs to be 1.32 million, period. But the revenue of your business needs to average 5 million or less over the last 3 years. If you can demonstrate that, we hear you loud and clear, that your primary location is Miami. But if you have a location in Broward, and you can demonstrate that you had that operating presence as a business in Broward, at least a year, and you fit those other criteria, you can be certified. So again, there's a difference between doing business in Broward and having a Broward business license tax receipt. See, that's one of the ways to demonstrate that your business is operating in Broward. And that's the key to our small business program. No different than the small business program in Miami, no different than the small business program in Palm Beach. We all have a geographic program, and we need to know that the business is at least certified or registered in our counties to do business. Nope, you do not need to change your locally headquartered. If you're headquartered in Miami, congratulations to you in Miami. But you must have a operating presence in Broward. Ms. Danberg?
Joshua Field asks, can you provide any further detail regarding the number of officers and services currently being provided for the Facility Management Division, Libraries and Parks?
As Sandy had mentioned, is that I'm not at liberty to discuss what the details of the new solicitation will be because it's still under development. Just keep looking for Periscope SG2, the bid sync, and formerly known as bid sync, and you'll see all of the details. There will be a pre-bid submittal meeting with all of the details, but unfortunately I can't speak to that right now.
And there's your key, and thank you for that, Robin. There's your key, folks. We do the meet and greets to introduce you. And most of the time, especially on major projects, agencies do pre-bid meetings. So the ideal of reading a solicitation is to begin to form your questions if you have them. The upside is when that solicitation ends up being married to a pre-bid meeting. And you just heard, that solicitation will be married to a pre-bid meeting. And that's when the devil in the details and the discussions will take place about the finite aspects. I went back to one of Robin's original slides because I understand the question you're asking. And she's clear, and she's repeating what I've stated, and I'm supporting her user agency. We're not talking about the actual solicitation before it hits the street. We never do. We don't have that authority. But if you're paying attention with your homework, the slide that I have up now is what she shared with you. You're asking about people and the number of staff. So I want to use this as an example. This is what I do as our development workshops with our small businesses. This is what I mean when I say program, process, people. So an agency has come and shared a picture of what we currently do. Your details about a solicitation will be when the solicitation comes out. But if an agency just shared that group 1 is going to be a 25% goal, that group 1 is about 10 plus Broward County user agency, that group 1 is approximately 50 different facilities, and it says that that's a 25% goal, that means group 1 process. Remember, know my program, know my process. That means group 1 is going to be, it's going to be the gold program. That means a prime contractor, a larger firm, is going to win that contract. And it means that larger contractor is then responsible for at least 25% of everything we just described in group 1 to be done with small businesses. So if you're trying to do the math in terms of the number of people, the first thing you just simply need to understand right now, because we're not speaking to the solicitation, is that as a gold program, some prime's gonna win that for over 10 plus user agencies, over 50 different locations. So if I'm a small business, I know there's a chance, based on my size and density, to begin to prepare myself to introduce myself to future primes, that I can support some of those. So no, we don't have the exact number of staff, but that should help you to understand what a prime will be looking for. Take a look at her second example. She's describing that project as a CBE Reserve, so that means we're considering, when it hits the street, that's gonna be hopefully a CBE is gonna serve as a prime. And once again, she's telling you that's 38 different library locations. How that'll be divided up, that's the devil in the details for the solicitation. But if I'm a CBE and we're using the word reserve, remember, know your program. That means as I'm trying to navigate this process, oh wow, I'm a CBE. How big am I? So when that solicitation comes out, I begin to define myself as someone, hopefully, that can go after the reserve opportunity. But because I know the program, because I know the definition of CBE Reserve, that's right, it just means that 100% of the service must be provided or by CBEs. So as a CBE in my size, I can say, I can get that contract and I can do about 40% of the work, which means the other 60% must be done by other CBEs. So though we're not describing and talking to you today about the solicitation, there's been more than enough information shared that you can begin to do your homework to decide how you're potentially going to fit into the reserve opportunities or the goal opportunities. And that's why we do the meet and greets. We want to share with you from a user agency perspective where we are now, what we do now. We are telling you, no jokes, that there's going to be a future solicitation. Your job is to be engaged and to trail us and to follow that process and pay attention to it when it hits the street. But right now, you should begin to do your homework, understanding program, process, and people. Denver?
Maxine Gordon with Bright Light Security wants to know if we have an approximate time frame for when the solicitations are going to be published.
The solicitation's under development, and we're working with our purchasing department, so we hope that it'll be soon, but I don't have the exact date. We anticipate that it'll be soon.
But what I'll also ask of you, as you saw in towards one of our ending slides, that's why you stay engaged. So whether we're talking about a month from now, 3 months from now, or 5 months from now, and really, I don't know either. Your advantage is right now, this day, January 22nd, you're being shared information about a future solicitation. And I don't know if you got a day or 5 months, but what I do know is right now, you can make sure you're certified. Right now, you can make sure you're in our directory. Right now, you can make sure that you're a registered vendor. Right now, you can make sure you got the Rice NACE code sitting up there in Periscope S2G, so when the solicitation does come out, you will know about it. Right now, you can make sure that you're receiving our BAW, our Business Assistance Weekly Newsletter. We work close with our user agencies and with purchasing, and we try to make sure as bids roll out, because we get it, you're busy. But you also got to find a way to work on your business, not just in your business. So every Wednesday, we give hot tips. We share whatever we know about an upcoming bid. And again, you might miss it because you're busy. That's why every Wednesday, we're going to tell you what bids also just hit the street. We got the links for our county procurement. We got the links for all 31 cities in our Wednesday newsletter. So that's what we mean by staying engaged. So though we can't tell you right now this day what date security services contract or solicitation will come out, we can tell you there's ways to stay engaged so that when it does come out as an official solicitation, you don't miss it. And that's our job, to make sure that we're giving you access to information. And again, when it comes, you should be ready for it. Denver?
That is all the questions.
So again, we'll check back one more time to see if, is it Ms. Burrows? Ms. Burrows, are you online? Okay. Okay, so we don't have Ms. Burrows, but look, we want to thank you for participating, for joining us. You didn't have to. I'm hoping you did because you're really interested. I want to thank facilities for coming today and sharing this information. This PowerPoint we're going to put up, I won't beat Ms. Danberg up, but Ms. Danberg will make sure that this PowerPoint is on our website by Tuesday. Is that good, Ms. Danberg? Wednesday? It'll be up next week. The reason I'm saying that, you have to pay attention to the program, the process, the people. And you get to use everything every workshop I do, program, process, people. But you now get to use program, process, people. And this is our first one for January. I'm at January 22nd. You get to use program, process, people to take as an exercise, if you're interested, this potential security opportunity and start your homework. Make sure you're engaged. Make sure you're connected. So whenever that solicitation hits the street, you're reading it slowly and carefully, and you begin to connect the dots to see if competitively, and folks, they are always competitive. Most of my small businesses know we don't play about that. It's no freebies, they're competitive. But you want to put yourself in a position that you can take advantage of these competitive opportunities to do business with Broward. And that's why we're here. So I want to thank facilities for joining us and sharing this information. Again, I'm not holding Ms. Danberg to it, but before this time next week, she will have this on the website so you can go over it again and read some of those particulars. And yes, stay engaged so that whenever that solicitation for this specific service hits the street, you know the same time that we know. With that, thank you. Stay safe. Happy New Year, and we'll see you soon.